All right, welcome back. Now we're going to have a little, conversation about traffic situation. What is it that causes all this traffic on our roads? I'm sure some of you, if you're watching on social media on your way to work, you probably find yourself caught up in the back of a trusky or a taxi, an Uber or something, and you're in traffic. What's this? Is it the bad roads? Is it road networks? What is it? Well, my colleague Kokui is on standby, and she's a Kaneshie first light around that area, and we're going to find out what's going on there and what the commuters think of what's happening as they're in traffic today. Kokui?
Yes, Kwekudi.
Yes. So what's happening there where you are right now?
Well, when I spoke to you a few minutes ago, remember I told you that we were at the Kaneshie First Light area. So we're still around that area, in between the Kaneshie Market, Kaneshie First Light. Now, at the time I spoke to you, which was just after 7:30, as I mentioned, the traffic didn't seem so bad. Now we can see that it's piling up a bit more. We've had a chance to talk to some of the commuters, and from what they're telling us, many of them are coming from that Kasua area. Now, this is a distance that is just over 20 kilometers, right?
Okay, yeah.
Some people are spending 2.5 hours, 3 hours in this traffic. The distance should not take that long.
Yeah.
They're spending hours for a distance that should take maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So we're seeing some irate commuters, some people who are not happy with the situation at all.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, their windows are rolled up because it's hot, obviously.
Yeah.
But you can tell from the looks on their faces. I mean, I spoke to one lady who looked extremely annoyed. She said she left home at 5 a.m.
Oh no!
And she's still in traffic. And and she's coming from Kasua to Circle. And she said it's every day. This is a daily occurrence. She goes through this, so she looked very perturbed. Another gentleman said they left Kasua about 2.5 hours ago. They're still on the road, still trying to make it over that distance of 20 odd kilometers. So you can imagine the frustration people go through having to do this commute every single day. Something that shouldn't take more than 30 minutes ends up taking 2.5 to 3 hours.
Wow. So do they have any perspective as to what is probably causing this and what would be the likely solutions? Is it just too many cars on the road? Is it bad roads? Because sometimes when you are hitting potholes, it slows down the vehicles and then traffic piles up, so that kind of thing tends to happen. But what is it that they're expressing as their opinions?
For some of the people we've spoken to, in fact, good morning, sir. How are you? We're noticing that there's a lot of traffic building up on the road. Is this a route that you use every day?
Yes.
Now, where are you coming from?
Dansuman.
From Dansuman. And where are you heading?
I'm heading towards Dome.
Okay. Now, about how long does the commute normally take?
Ideally, when there's no traffic, it takes me, let's say, by 30 minutes I should be there, or less than that.
But is this traffic build up normal?
I think it's after the overpass, where the commuters and the small businesses around there. That's why and the way the truck drivers also park. But if not, it's okay.
Thank you so much. All right, so according to this gentleman, he thinks part of the problem, at least around this area, is the fact that there are lots of small businesses, lots of commuters, as we know, mass transport, the trotros, etc. They're the ones causing the traffic buildup. That's his opinion. Now, he's just coming from Dansoman, which we know is not too far from here. But for people who are coming from longer distances, they bear the brunt of a lot of it because, it piles up, builds up. So from where they're coming from, they have to sit in it for a much longer time.
Yeah, wow. Well, I mean, I think that if you can get a couple more, people to tell us what they think. Looking at the situation, the aerial view of it is horrible. I mean, I don't want to imagine what it must be like to be in that sort of traffic at any point in time.
Exactly. And again, this is mainly for those coming from the Kaswa direction toward Kaneshie, toward Obechibi Lamti. For those going the other direction, it still seems free-flowing. But as you can see, as I'm talking to you, it's moving slowly but surely. There isn't a lot of stagnant traffic.
Okay.
Stagnant traffic, but obviously it's still frustrating when you have to wait a bit in traffic. As let's keep going.
Okay.
All right.
Fantastic.
So we're moving along with the car. So it's, as you can see, we're not getting a lot of stable vehicles that are moving along for people to speak to. But it's obviously a frustrating situation.
Yeah,
I mean, if you had to be stuck in traffic for 2.5 hours to go a distance of about 20 kilometers, I'm sure many of us would not be too happy.
Yeah. No,
would be in a mood.
Yeah, so I'm not sure also. I remember thinking about the fact that maybe there are bottlenecks along the way. Of course, when they talk about the trotro drivers parking on the road, I think that's definitely one of the major causes. From my experience, the Kaneshie First Light area going in towards Obechebe Lamte, which I think is a stretch you're on, there are a lot of trotros and buses that park in the road, so they don't go off the road, they park in the road, and then they create 2-3 lanes of parked vehicles, even if they are parking temporarily, they are parking in the road. So it's forcing all the traffic that's moving into just one lane, and creating that constriction there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah.
That's exactly what the commuter we just spoke to said. Remember, he mentioned the fact that because of all the commuters where the trotros normally park around the market, all of the petty trading and activity around there, he believes that that's a major cause of the bottleneck at this particular section of the journey. So he did mention that's, but you've got, like you said, trotros that take up about this. It's a 3-lane road, right?
Yeah.
But pretty much 1.5 of those lanes ends up being taken up by the trotros, and then you've got commuters who are weaving in and out of traffic, in and out of the lanes. So drivers have to slow down to accommodate them. All of that exacerbates the problem. So and that's exactly what we're seeing here as well as we're on the road here.
How far? How far are you from the Kaneshie Bridge? The overpass, footbridge.
We're not far at all. We're not far at all. I'm sure, and we're on the road. We're very close, as I said, in between the markets and the First Light. But I'm here with our colleague Caleb Kuda, who has also been going in and out of traffic, speaking to people about the situation on the ground. Caleb, what have you gleaned from these people so far? People who are in their vehicles trying to make it to work. What have they been saying to you?
Right. So I've been speaking to some who say they're coming from Botiano. Now, Botiano is a bit closer than, say, Kaswa. And they tell us that they've spent about an hour or 2 coming from Botiano. Those who are coming from Kaswa say they've spent about 3 hours. And when you check on Google Maps, it estimates about 30 minutes drive on a 32-kilometer stretch. And so they tell us that they are spending an average of an hour, 2 hours, plying the stretch. And looks like the congestion is building up a bit. If you look at the shots, it's a bit more fluid. However, if you are coming from further down, you're coming from Winneba, Kaswa, then you're obviously going to spend a lot more time. And these are people, those who tell me they are coming from Botiano, they set off around 6 in the morning. So if you're setting off any later than 6, then you're definitely going to be in trouble. So Kaswa and beyond, you're really in trouble, particularly around the toll booths. It's going to create a lot of frustration for you as a commuter. So that's what we are seeing. But this morning over here, we've seen a bit of fluidity. But as the rush hour builds up, as the rush hour goes on, the traffic builds up. And that's what we are seeing for the commuters.
The almighty infamous toll booth, as he mentioned, that many people have to struggle through each and every day as they're trying to get to work. So, as Caleb said, a lot of people are talking about the fact that it's, again, Kaswa, Botiano, having to do with that Kaswa toll booth, a distance that shouldn't take more than half an hour is taking 2.5 to 3 hours on a daily basis. But, it's moving slowly but surely. Now, let's see if we can get some information from this young gentleman. He's driving along. All right, we've got some more people coming up. But to be honest with you, Kweku David, by the time people have gotten to this stretch, yes, it's still kind of stop go, but there's some flow to it. Now, I should mention that we have seen some MTTD personnel as well on the streets. So, I mean, as we were even driving in, we did notice that at some of the major junctions, there were MTTD personnel also trying to help the traffic situation. And I think that helps, because at least if there's some kind of gridlock, some kind of jam, then you've got somebody there who can help to sanitize the situation until traffic eases up a bit later after rush hour. So I will say I need to make that important point that some people may wonder, well, why isn't there someone there helping to direct traffic? Well, some of the junctions when we were driving along, from what we saw, we noticed that there were some MTTD personnel. So there are a few people on the ground trying to mitigate the situation.
Yeah. So I noticed that there's a little red car behind you. I was just curious to find out if we could speak with them there, but like you said, the traffic is moving.
Yes, we'll get some people to speak to. For those who are willing to speak with us, we'll find some more people to speak to.
Yeah.
As I said, because the traffic keeps moving,
yes,
it's difficult for a lot of them to stop, roll down the windows and speak to us.
Yeah.
But not to worry, we'll get more people that we can talk to.
That's
and
also
see
fine. Yeah.
How the commuters. Going.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about this whole thing of somebody lives in Winneba and wants to come to Accra Central, and if that's what they have to do on the daily. It must be a nightmare because
on a daily basis, exactly.
This is just one of the traffic spots. There are several of these kind of situations along the way. Before they even get here, like you mentioned earlier on the toll booth, the infamous toll booth. That's definitely another one. So by the time you have gone through all of this, I mean, I'm not sure you will feel very positive about your work day.
Exactly. And imagine sitting through all of that traffic, having to pay. Imagine you're driving your car. The more you're in traffic, the more fuel you're burning, right?
Yeah.
So you're burning all of that fuel to get to a job that you're probably going to use all of that money to pay for the fuel you're burning, to pay for if you try to use alternative routes and the roads are a bit tricky, you're going to have to pay for maybe new shock absorbers. So, the cost that you end up incurring is much more than just straight fiscal. Your stress levels, it's no wonder our stress levels are increasing in this country. If you have to sit in traffic like this every day just to get to work, why wouldn't you be stressed?
I often think about
all of those things, I think.
Yeah. No, I often think about what you're saying right now. Stress levels, but also productivity. Because we talk about when we do our health segment, for example, we talk about the fact that the numbers are going up as far as obvious stress and stress-related illnesses are going up. So this is definitely a contributing factor. And I would like to find out from the commuters, how does it affect their productivity by the time they get to their work? How do they feel?
Exactly. I just spoke to a gentleman, very quickly while you were talking, and he said he's been in traffic for over 2.5 hours as well, and he was also coming from Kaswa. So he's also
not yet at
a
work.
bit stressed. So he's not yet at work, and it's almost 8:30.
Yeah.
So imagine trying to get to work. I wonder how many employers are sympathetic to this. Do you understand? Probably, if you don't have to keep explaining every day to your employer that you're leaving home 3 hours early to get to work on time and you're still running late, or if you have a business to open up. At a point in time, you've got to balance your quality of life with your work commitments. How, if this is your commute coming in and going home, how many hours in the day do you have to, actually enjoy your time awake?
Yeah, exactly.
But, this is what we're dealing with. Let's see. I see a young lady here as well. She's looking very stressed in her car. I mean, to be honest, Kwaku David.
Yeah.
Nobody. You'll be hard pressed to find someone who's smiling this morning, and I don't blame them at all.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because this is a very inconvenient way to get to work in the morning. Let's be honest, or to get to wherever you're going.
So I find it interesting. I'm just thinking about the fact that people live in different parts of the city, right? And if you are coming from, let's say, Kaswa, your experience will be very different from someone who's coming from, let's say, an East Legon. Even though you both be in traffic, your experience is very different.
In fact, I think one day we probably should go to East Legon, because I can imagine there are a lot of frustrated people on that stretch alone. I mean, that's closer to my side of town, and I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, there's a lot of frustration in commuting from that side of town as well. Even though there are many, one would say, entry or exit points, depending where you're coming from. Every single one of those points gets choked during rush hour. So I think different, like you said, different area of town. Different people, but same frustration probably. Same frustration.
And what I find untenable about the East Legon situation is that the journey is a lot shorter than Kaswa, but I'm sure people take almost the same amount of time to go into Accra Central.
Hang on. Let me ask this young man a question. Good morning. Please, where are you coming from?
Cape Coast.
From Cape Coast.
Wow.
And how long has it taken you to get this far?
3 hours.
3 hours. What time did you? So you left Cape Coast around 5. Hold on. Let's try and catch up with them briefly.
Go on.
As I said, the traffic keeps moving.
Yes.
The traffic keeps moving.
Yes.
So we'll see if we can still catch up and get some information.
Okay.
But they left Cape Coast, he said. They've been on the road for about 3 hours, which means they probably left at 5:30. So they really haven't been able to they're approaching Kaneshie, so I suppose that's something. But Cape Coast, again, technically is not that far to have to take 3 hours. All right, so I've caught up with you now. So you left Cape Coast 3 hours ago, or more than 3 hours ago. And where are you heading?
Accra.
You're going to Central Accra. Hey, you're very brave. You're sitting in a lot of traffic. Is this a trip that you make every day?
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks. Oh goodness me. Now, why do you think there's a lot of traffic on this road?
Because they have to keep it there.
Okay, I think we might lose them a bit, but I was trying to get a sense from them what they think is causing the traffic. But this is actually a route that they take regularly, from what the gentleman was saying.
Yeah.
So it's something, and that's the thing, Kweku David. You don't have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
There are people who have to travel this long journey out of necessity. They've got to work, they've got businesses that they run, they come to and fro. They said they're going to Accra Central. If they had a choice, I'm sure if there was an alternative means of doing this that didn't involve having to stay on this Dr. Busia highway for over 3 hours and still not at your destination, I'm sure they would take it.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Unfortunately.
Kokwe, thank you very much. We're going to go over to our colleague in Kumasi right now. He's on the Kumasi Mampon Highway in the Kwabri East Municipality, somewhere in Anya. We're going to talk to him, Hafiz Tijani, right now. Hafiz, good morning. Hello, Hafiz.
Good morning, David. How are you doing? I can hear you.
All right, so you can see some footage there. This is from Kumasi. As you can see, the traffic situation is not only reserved for Accra. In Kumasi, there you can see in your shot there the back-to-back. Some smaller vehicles, the tuk-tuks, or what is known popularly as the Mahama Kambu. They are having their way and they're going, and the motorbikes as well. But the vehicles, the cars, the four-wheelers are all stuck back to back. And Hafiz there. Hafiz, good morning. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Good morning, David. I can hear you clearly.
All right, so you can see the footage there, and you can see the motorbikes. I mean, the earliest chance they get to dodge the traffic, they will, and they go. But Kumasi situation looks, in a certain sense, it actually looks a bit worse than what we just saw in the Kaneshie market. Hafiz.
Yeah, David, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear. Yeah, so talk to us about where you are. What sort of community are you in, and the traffic situation that's happening there?
So, Dave, if you lived in this part of the Ashanti region, that is here in the Kwabri East municipality, you'd have been waking up as early as 2 a.m. to prepare for work.
Wow.
Because the traffic situation here is very, very serious. You can see in the build-up, these vehicles are coming from other regions. These vehicles are coming from other districts. They are also coming from other communities. So we have communities like Abuasu, Ntonsu, we have Aguna, we have Kona, we have Mampon, we have Ejura. And this road leads you to Ejura. This road also leads you to Yeji in the Bunu East region.
Okay.
So this road is very important. And in this municipality, you have the Bonwire. You know about the Bonwire,
yes.
the famous Kente area.
Yes.
You know about Antwa, the Antwa Shrine.
Yes.
These are tourist attraction sites, and all of these areas are in this municipality. And this is the situation here, and productivity is just wasting away because a lot of people are stuck in traffic and they are not getting to their destinations and also their workplaces.
Wow. I don't know if we can get to speak to some of those who are stuck in traffic to find out how long they've been driving for. That would be interesting to note. So where are all these people
Exactly,
heading?
That's what we're just moving to do.
Okay.
To speak to some of the drivers who are in traffic for how long they have been driving. And you can see this driver. You are welcome to City TV.
Thank you.
How serious is the situation here, the traffic situation?
Very, very bad. Even around this time, it's even better. Between 5:30 a.m. and then 8 o'clock is very bad. You can be in this traffic for almost 2 hours.
Wow, that's serious. Where are you coming from and what time did you leave the house?
I'm coming from Fadi. I left the house around 7:40 that way. And it's past 8, getting to 9. I'm now around.
Is this every day or is just today?
Every single day, Monday to Monday. Every day there is traffic. You can only have a relief of the traffic around 10 that way to 11. From 11 going, you start picking up again up to 9 p.m. So this road is very busy road. Traffic is very heavy. From morning to evening, Monday to Monday. Always traffic, always traffic.
All right, so that's a driver here who is just speaking about the traffic. He left home at about 7 and then he doesn't even know when he's getting home to the workplace. So that is the situation here. The motorbikes and the tricycles are just finding their way, creating other lanes on this road, illegal lanes, because they want to beat the traffic, the heavy vehicular traffic here. And the driver tells me that it is every day. This is the everyday situation. This is the daily situation they have to compound with. So we would want to still engage with more drivers. About City TV. So.
Yeah, ofana majuma muti saying.
Now traffic no say the city.
Mpacho traffic no the net the asset. Ya hu say aba from kakra. Na nim ade a omo ye ya net the asset so ati kakra. The bia traffic me cheaper than net the am say so ati kakra.
Then officer the traffic neighbor.
Me dem hwa madwi mu die ase pragia no mo any sometimes junction aya nyeni ye no nti ase enye nti no ohwa enna ma traffic eba
na kwan ni suka ho
kwan ni die bibia say die bet umfan mo umfasubo no mo kwan nti ohwa.
So that's another driver who is talking about the traffic. He says that today is better than the other days, the previous days, and he's worried about that, and he's linking or he's blaming the tricycles and the illegal parking on this road to the traffic situation that is being compounded here. We'll see what to engage with more of the drivers here. You're welcome to City TV.
Our design. Mama any day.
Traffic need to say.
Yeah. Boko boguni bi anim.
Na ya affect juma na amu ya no.
Affect bebrebe high.
E dey no person aban ya fasa dey.
Menyenwu adukra na opa kire no menti asam menti
traffic me say traffic no
nyokra ntia bobo yafo na high esam mo hwe high be say aban boy no mbie kwan na mai ya ho kire ya ko adwuma tam ese ko adwuma ntimi nko emfa ho tomba ntia mo hwe mpa na mo boy sa de no e de ho kire ba area pa ha de enye nko no kra nti mo bo na nti sa de na ntintim mai na aban tim ba bie kwan na mai. So this
other road user is also blaming the traffic situation on the narrow nature of the road. He says that this road needs an expansion. So if there's an expansion, the drivers are able to move freely, the tricycles are able to move freely, the motorbikes are also able to move freely. And this is affecting productivity day in, day out in this area, because a lot of people who are also willing to go to their workplaces are not able to go. I have this gentleman here who has to walk to his school. He's here with us to speak to us. You are welcome to City TV.
Oh, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I think I will congratulate you for being the first TV station, the radio station, to think of these people. We are suffering a lot. Now, if it's to take a look, you can see a fleet of cars stuck in a traffic. It's not the government who should solve this problem for us. It has been here ever since this party took over. I'm not doing politics, but looking at two areas, we have Overseas Johnson and Meduma. Now we have gotten some potholes there. Those who have turned it completely. Those who have faced the drainage system on that road. We don't need a double road to ease this traffic for us. All we need is that our leaders should take of us. They shouldn't wait for political year before they face our problem for us. We need them to face our traffic so that those of us public servants, we can go to work without any tension. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so that's another commuter. He lives in this area and he's walking to school, and because he's not getting vehicle, the situation is bad for him.
Yeah. All right, Hamish. Now, what I want you to do for me is to sort of give me a sense of the Kumasi landscape and the traffic-prone areas. Where are people coming from generally, and where will they be going within the hours of, say, 6 a.m. and about 10 a.m.? Where will be people coming from, and where will they be going that causes traffic in Kumasi?
So the focus is the Central Business District, that is Edum, the KJTR Market, and the Kumasi Central Market. That is where a lot of people go to in the morning. You have people coming from Offenso areas towards the north of the region. You have people also coming from Ejiso, that is the east of the region. You have also people coming from Ebuakwa, Nyani areas. All of them are coming from to the Central Business District. And you look at areas like the Ebuakwa areas, Tanosu areas, though the road is under construction, there's been some expansion works there, but the traffic there is also dire. And you go to areas like Ahinsan, Atonsu, heading to the Lake Road. That road is also under construction, but the traffic situation there is also very, very serious. And what is compounding this traffic situation is the lack or absence of link roads for drivers to maneuver their way through. Because there are no link roads, especially at this place we are, the link roads are not good. So drivers do not want to take that risk in plying their vehicles on the bad roads so that they can spot. So they want to be, or they prefer to be in this traffic to being in the or using the link roads.
Now, so when I used to do a lot of road trips, going up towards Kintampo, Techiman, and so on, when you're coming back into Kumasi, I typically find that within about 5 minutes of entering Kumasi, you're already hitting traffic. You know, by the time you 5 minutes of entering Kumasi, you're already hitting traffic. Tell us about that area too, and what is it that causes that traffic to suddenly, you know, because you'll be driving very comfortably as you from Offenso getting into Kumasi, and then all of a sudden you hit traffic. What causes that traffic at that point?
So these are the chronom. You are talking about chronom. You are talking about Abohia, and you are talking about Swami.
Yes.
So you know the Swami roundabout.
Yeah.
It's a busy intersection. And the roundabout is so large. This was a concern the road minister raised when he mentioned that there was going to be an interchange there, because that stretch or that intersection, there's been a lot of traffic on that intersection, and it's affecting road users, people who are traveling to even outside the country, neighboring countries like Burkina Faso, Togo. You know, these trucks that load goods to these areas, most of them sometimes they are stuck at the Swami roundabout, and this is an intersection that is very busy. So that area particular needs an interchange. Like government says, all the feasibility studies have been done, and then they want to construct an interchange there so that they can ease the traffic in that area. So this road also links to Swami roundabout, and most of the drivers who are leaving this stretch to Swami roundabout. When they get there, the traffic is still going to be a problem for them.
Yeah. Okay. So you're currently at Ahria, isn't it?
Exactly, Dave.
Okay. Now the guys are complaining that I heard 2 people at least complain that the Prajia or the Mahama Kambu, these are the ones that are causing the problem for them as far as they are concerned. What's your experience like? Because they look like they are moving. They look like they are rather moving, and so how can they?
Yes, Dave, you can see.
Yeah. No, but
because they are using illegal lanes. They are creating additional lanes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just a 2-lane road.
Okay.
So we have one side going to the opposite direction, then the other side also coming.
Okay.
But these Pragia drivers, you can see they are not in traffic. They are using the middle of the road, creating additional lanes, and they are making it difficult for drivers who are in traffic, drivers who want to move, and it's not so easy for them.
Okay.
That is why they are attributing the traffic to the activities of the Pragia people.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. So typically, so it means that the Swami roundabout, we definitely need to have the interchange done. And that would, hopefully that would impact massively on this traffic situation. Where were you coming from this morning to get here, and how long did it take you to get there?
All right, so usually in the morning, when you are coming from Kumasi to this area, the traffic situation is down because the concentration is not on this lane. But when you are moving from areas like Abuaso, Ntonso, areas from like Mampong into Kumasi, that is where you have the traffic. So you have this side, there's heavy vehicular traffic there, and this side also is free because there's traffic flow, the concentration is not here. But it's the vice versa when it's the rush hour in the evening.
Okay.
When people are also coming back from Kumasi, this other lane is free, and this one coming from Kumasi, because people are coming back from their various destinations and workplaces back to their homes, the concentration is here and the traffic situation changed to this place.
Yeah. Okay, so give us a sense of some of what the urban sprawl is like as far as Kumasi is concerned. In Accra, we talk of the OEB areas, we talk of Kaswa, we talk of Ayimensa going towards Ebri and so on. What about Kumasi? What's the urban sprawl creating the areas? I know you are going towards Mampong right now. So what are some of the other areas?
All right, so when you look at this area used to be far. People see it to be far, not to be part of Kumasi.
Yeah.
But because of the continuous settlement, this is now close to Kumasi, and areas, people living in this area, because of the traffic, they would have been getting to their workplaces as early as possible. Not the concentration of people like living around Ashtown, around Bantima, who can even walk to the central business district. But if you are living in this area, you have to pick a vehicle. But because of the settlement here, a lot of buildings and new buildings are springing up in this area. So it's merging, getting close to the Kumasi area. So all these locations have been classified under the Greater Kumasi area.
Okay.
That's a classification that has been made. So you don't see the difference now, but the difficulty now is the traffic situation and how people are able to move quickly to the central business district. So while at this, the assembly member for the area wanted to also contribute, or wants to also contribute to this conversation, because he's worried about what is going on. Honorable, you are welcome to City FM and City TV.
Thank you. You are also welcome.
What's the situation here? You have been the assembly member in this area. What's the traffic situation here?
Please, I beg. We are in Kumasi and Ashanti. Let's talk our
okay. Now traffic no here. Like saying the city.
Yo, meda ahefo ni atiefo nyina ase. In fact, traffic na ewo yen kwan we so no ano odin pa minim de say Ghana mi hu traffic jams ni bebre but Kumasi kwanya free swami besna come and ponting kopim cancer mampong anodin anonti dia yesre nyina no say aban no emehwe na minim say ekwan no oba musu a enka adan no bebre enti aban no na yesre say onhwe say obetimi aba be buy ekwan num de amayen
na eyade a odi atu assembly ninim oko assembly meetings
me ameka say your friend me free fatawia na the american say me a former assembly member nyamianim ya ka sasem no efretete na the minim ne say 1992 na ye NDC regime and omo ye sa ekwan we 92 93 omampani ku for ba 2000 no ono so ebehwe ekwan we ya landlords work anu nyina omo frɛ wɔn ɛma omo hu sɛ omo ba be buy kwan num enu nti akwaya te sɛ efiri wɔn no yanti bibia biem so assembly no de wo de to assembly no anum a fine ye tu sa na mo no nanso ekwan we nye this assembly no ene betimi aye eye Ghana ban ene betimi de sa kwan we ama contractor ebema sa traffic jam we no etimi akofom.
Okay, so the concern for the former assembly member for this area is that this traffic situation has been affecting a lot of road users, not only people living in this community, but others coming from some areas and other regions. But his concern is that there should be an expansion of the road, and after the expansion, he thinks that the traffic situation could reduce in this area and people will be able to ply their activities freely. But the assembly member is also here. He also wants to contribute. The current assembly member for this area, this is was the former assembly member, and he talked about some interventions he has made. Honorable Vasco, I talk about Bar City TV. So
Major so minia.
Now traffic who asem na eka no ha say otie hi ede anamo na otu say ebia aban ebetimi aba ebeboa omo use kwan we
yo me da asiminia anopa ise o ma me sa kwanya no na me tia enyinamfo ne ehwafo nyina ene kwabre MC fo ne yempanfo ayo ha nyina me tia obi a ni awo ka no asema ha adwen pa e wo ha ye kwan wie ya tititita omampanyi Lawrence ye ya na kama no say your situation no aye worse as a chane say yan show overseas junction ho e ho tutu kura no a eno na de account be a traffic neighbor wo hwe about junction me and a former MC no what task force wa me kura na me da no aye hwe ma traffic near there ekọ okọ ayiwa yakọ or they say highways for urban roads yakọ omu nyina o say kwabre main road no enye ye show overseas ni aba junction aboaso ni ho ni nyina enye omo behwe wunim se nansan ya akura no omo de omo ni aba behwe so okwa ahwebuada ba bia ye gito no kura no fa uduru ahonye eso omo gisika chane ya omo ja driver for ni sika ho a to no honye hwe ye kwabre ye hwe hwa ha ayi ye fa na ye gitia no metima kasa de ho kwabre enwa ye omo 35% ofa main street na sa street no utomo atimi kosi estate kia yes main street na ebeboa ofa ayi enuam ho a overseas one atutu no obetima no wate asimu mosi zongo yes kwan ni nyina yesre ebeboa ofa the whole kwabre minim ba bia ya tale se ko tale nie enso kwabre na to abakese epa man anado as the whole kwabre yentale ba apart from main road ya asase yi oka na ayi urban roads omone highways for omonya ba gigi to ni sika ni wie ekwa asa omonya hwe bio ekwa no so hwe se futuro mi ana sometimes ma sre zoom lion for ma bopa na zoom lion for be ya eja na ma mo ensuo sika kakra no mo abayi futuro na egu kotal no so no ene so sei kotal no we nyina fa yaka enso or say highways any aba omu enya ho hwe sika na no mbegigea na omo de ko omo nya hwe
Okay, so the assembly member for this area is angry. He's not happy about the traffic situation. He has been blaming the traffic situation on the potholes that are on the road, on the absence of link roads in this area, and his worry is that there's a toll booth here at Abuaso in this municipality, and a number of road users, or all road users, use or pay their tolls, and even when you get to where the toll is situated, the road is not good. He is worried that the monies that have been taken from drivers who are using the road from the toll are not being used properly to augment the road situation in this area. He is not happy also about the link roads that are supposed to serve as free movement, or that are supposed to reduce the traffic, are absent and are not there in this area. So he wants government to intervene and help them. He has mentioned about other interventions like going to the urban roads, the highways, to plead with them to come and solve the situation, but all that has not been done.
Having so, I had wanted you to ask him something for me. I know that roads and highways have certain responsibilities, but as far as potholes within the community are concerned, doesn't the assembly have any role in that? Or that's still left up to the highways?
Potholes now kano. Also we call highways so we call urban roads ho. Na assembly no muni fan bia ana muni mmobo amudi ye sa potholes no.
Yo me da say assembly no you call highways ane you know hwese me kra no unim say hwa me ye say ka me ye or they say crossing highway for catch them some ye crossing as accident bia si a me ho no beba aba be chime eti me de kwato assembly na nim assembly no ye jitu mu say sa ho no yempe abo ne ayi kakra megum for the meantime amma ba say 1 month say 1.5 months ni yep highway for mo ba be hwe say mo sem be ma ye ayi coachal abo ni bi no etire ye koya mo say e bi ni hobi o kra the assembly na say ya jitu mu say yemfa abo emeye aba junction ho ene overseas for the meantime kakra na say ekoba say ye kwan no a cause eno ne ade a say nyame ya adom a eno ne ade a nyankopon ya adom a ye de begum na ye be call assembly meeting ye ba be call assembly meeting for next 2 weeks time enti enya me ka executive committee ho enti se enya gitum assembly meeting we dia ye de abo no ba be go overseas ene aba junction ni akoya abo so ene ho te say eno ne ade a me hwa animu se ombeboa ma eyina ko sense me or say me task force for no te say omo okwan so omo ye adwuma ya task force omo okwan so kwa abre o ya task force omo okwan so direct traffic no te eno ne emwa kakra cancel no so e be say omo de bo omo de abo ene eyi eba begum se enya MC for MP no so aye willing say obeboa ama say adwuma die na akoso.
So Dave, he's speaking about some interventions the assembly has been making in trying to patch the potholes where he thinks is causing the traffic. He's also spoke about they setting up a task force so that they can control the traffic situation and help drivers. Sometimes even when police officers are at these intersections, the situation gets worse and drivers are not able to move freely. And you can see in the shots, the traffic is just building up massively. Productivity is on its knees. People are not able to get to their workplaces and their various destinations on time. A lot of people who are in the vehicles, the passengers, are not so happy about the situation. And they cannot walk to the central business district or their destination. I think that would have been the best option for them to do.
All right, Hafiz, thank you very much. Hafiz has been bringing us some images and conversations from area. Area is in the Kwabre East municipality between the Kumasi and Mampo on the highway there. Just helping us to get a sense of what's happening in terms of traffic in the Ashanti region as well. We're going to go over to a quick report by our colleague Umar Sanda Amadou. And this is from the Pokuase interchange, also about the traffic situation there and some of what has been going on that side of town in Accra, the Pokuase interchange. Let's take a look at Umar Sanda's report.
Now, if you're coming from Amasaman on Sawam, 200 to 300 meters before you hit the footbridge, you'd see a mini gridlock forming around this area. A number of reasons are to blame for that. There's a police MTTD officer who stops main vehicles or vehicles that are coming on the main road towards Accra from Amasaman, and to make way for vehicles that are coming from Accra to do the U-turn at this particular intersection. Now, this coupled with the poor nature of the road in a lot of the parts here is the reason that you will see a gridlock. There's a drive from Nsawam towards Accra, and immediately you drive under the tunnel of the Pokuase interchange, you run into this gridlock, and this extends all the way to the Ofankor barrier. If the pool of water that forms with the least rain is addressed because the Ofankor roundabout seems to be a site of constant gridlock. Now, along the stretch, just by the bus stop, is a taxi rank, and these taxi drivers were here before the interchange was constructed, and they're still here while the interchange is being utilized. I'm going to just speak to one or two of the drivers here and find out from them what they have seen, what they continue to see, and what the difficulties they believe are.
Footbridge, you know, say nipa faso na wo kwase ha ya kwan mu ano eno so no eduru anajo a ebo be 6:30 to 7 na abobo yafo ne okadafo ade eso afa omo faso omo de moto ne nam so up and down instead of say nipa na faso no omo de moto ne nam so sa ma police ni bi no upon night obegina ha titi bi ama sa no ko omo ha ta kina ma ne handcuff kro omo say no. That's not me police one man here or Amasaman say near cost wa hani sin other say petrol team plan the betting ya can also be boy.
Interchange na reduce the traffic.
Met me aka say nkebe ye bet baby kakra ya Amasaman. Baby a police for no one ne baby a lolo for ne man no ene o mo station no. Ne nyina ye opposite nti we no mo efa ni say no mo kwa na ama traffic na ye de ache. The same time na ebi mo nso ko station ho. Endo omuduru hon ma obon say highway na aye aka one lane pe ndo tumechi abetim sa Pokuase a extra Pokuase krafa interchange na sekla so nti eche edumi bo be 11 and tana ate. It's
a road that has been provided an interchange, and yet people are constantly in the median trying to cross this road despite the busy nature, and this includes people who are selling or hawking food, people who are just pedestrians crossing. So we'll approach a few of them to see if they would speak to us and explain why they choose this short but very long route. Hello, sir. I'm from City TV. Can I speak to you briefly? Maybe how far you know? What's how far? I didn't hear.
Maybe I'm more no. I knew overhead no much.
100 meters. Let me an Antiaco because car bet me about now.
And they are no correct.
What are you and I and then
okay, and the moment I may see me far.
This gentleman just running past, crossing, and he, incidentally, is heading towards the footbridge, which is a bit bizarre. This lady and a gentleman, the lady on the phone, a gentleman carrying a bag, and they're just crossing. See if I can speak to them. Hello, sir. See you running to cross the road instead of using the footbridge. It's not safe for you, is it?
Oh, that one there is normal.
Okay.
Because it's normal.
Madam, how about you? Why did you have to run and cross?
I'm using it, but today it's at me like I'm late. And sometimes too, when I use it, I've been feeling pain in my knees.
But
I don't normally use it, but sometimes I've been using it.
But I noticed you're going towards the same footbridge, so you could have just gone to the other side and crossed from there, don't you think?
Yes, I think so.
So you do use it, but you did not use it today?
I do use it, but not always.
City guards are, though, moving up and down this particular stretch, trying to ensure discipline. People who are not supposed to park are not allowed to park at the places that they wish to park. And these are city guards from the assembly that monitor this particular place. This gentleman has been walking up and down, issuing instructions to trotro drivers in particular.
All right, so there you have it, the situation at the Pokuase interchange. Very interesting. People wanting to cross the road. Jaywalking, that's what it's called, jaywalking. And it's actually illegal. You're not allowed to do that, you know. But, of course, there are certain things that, a lot of things that we're not allowed to do in this country that, you know, everybody just closes a blind eye to. And then it becomes normalized, you know, so that the day that the law decides to bite, it's like everybody is surprised. It's like, but what have I done wrong? You know, but it's been wrong all along. You know, it's just that the law didn't bite. Well, I had a message here. This is coming. I'm not sure who sent it, but I wish you had added your name. Kindly come to the Adenta Ashie Road every morning to check the to check the traffic here. It will be marvelous to your eyes. Well, I do have a sense of what that traffic is like. It's pretty horrible, and some of you have been sending messages about that earlier on, and I think it's a very important thing for us to deal with, you know, this conversation about traffic situation. Everywhere that there's traffic, it impinges massively on our ability to be productive, you know, and I think it's important for government to think about this when you think about the human resource capacity we have in this country and the fact that we are saying that we want to be a productive nation. What does that even mean? You know, and then maybe we should also have a system that says that some people go to work at certain hours of the day, other people work on different shifts. You know, that could be another approach, because I know some countries employ that, where not everybody goes to work, especially if you look at, for example, the public sector, where you look at places like the ministries and say that the civil service employs so many people. Why don't we break it up and say that certain people who arrive at work at, let's say, 8 o'clock in the morning. Other people come to work at 2 p.m., which will allow people to then, there'll be different loads of traffic at different points in time, which means that it reduces the amount of cars moving into town, let's say for the 8 o'clock time. Some people will be moving about 12ish to get into town for the 2 o'clock time. That will help. I mean, it's a possibility. We have to think about all these things. Also think about road networks, think about ring roads. Ring roads are very important. One of the things that I think that we need to do, particularly in Accra, and of course, when we look at a developing situation in Kumasi, it's something we need to look at, is to create these ring roads that says that, so for example, if somebody is going from, let's say, Adenta, and the person is going to Kaswa, why on earth are they going to come all the way through the N1 to go? It doesn't make any sense. You should be able to create a ring road as a high-speed ring road or a motorway that goes all the way around and avoids the whole business of having to come down. So everybody that's going to Kaswa from Adenta is coming through, you know, either Hacho or Legon or, you know, the N1. It just creates all kinds of, you know, unnecessary traffic and all that. So these are things for the planners to think about. You know, and I'm sure they're thinking about it, but yeah, we always say that there's no money and all those kinds of things. So anyway, this is what we brought to you. We need to interact. We want to interact with you as well, okay? Let us know, where do you live? How long does it take you to get to work every day? The hashtag is Breakfast Daily. The WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. Do send us messages. Give us a sense of what is going on, what your experiences are like on the daily. We'll take a short break. Breakfast Daily will be right back. All right, welcome back. Now, Breakfast Daily continues. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily. WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. We do want to hear from you. Of course, we'll be talking traffic this morning, all the different, you know, conversations happening from different places. Kokui was bringing us footage from Kaneshie, the Kaneshie First Light area towards the Kaneshie Footbridge and so on and so forth. But Kokui has joined me back in the studio. Hi.
Hi, Kwekudi. Yes, we're back. We're back from our travels.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, we just went to Kaneshie.
Yeah.
We didn't travel that far.
It wasn't that too far away.
Yeah, interesting. Everybody, you know, commuters, people trying to get to work, people leaving Winneba, Kaswa, Botiano.
Yeah.
You know, that side, is it the west side of Accra?
Okay, yes.
And then going into that Kaswa, which is technically central region, but has almost become part of Greater Accra, you know, because the lines are blurred so much. Lots of people live in that area, but then cross over into Greater Accra for work. So we've got a lot of commuters like that. Now, at the area where we were standing, which is Kaneshie, between First Light, the market, that Dr. Buzia Highway. To be honest, when we got there, which was around, let's say 7:15, 7:30, traffic seemed to be moving quite well.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there are a lot of traffic lights on that stretch, right?
Yes.
But you didn't have the sense of, okay, the light has changed and no car is moving. No.
Yeah.
At least they were moving.
Okay.
As I mentioned, there were some MTTD officers as well, you know, strategically placed along the routes. You could see them, you know, from a distance at some of the junctions. So you could tell that they were also trying to help with the flow of traffic.
Okay.
So it seemed pretty orderly. But the frustration for a lot of commuters, you could tell from the people we spoke to, they go through it every day. So it's almost normalized, but it shouldn't be. So you see them sitting in traffic, you know, they're looking quite morose, and they say, yeah, you know, I left home at 5 a.m. I've been in this for 3 hours, 2.5 hours, you know, and you think, goodness, every single day, you could be spending 6 hours just on the road to get to work or the markets or wherever you're going, and then to have to do it every single day. Very frustrating. But we asked them what they thought some of the reasons could be for the traffic jam. You know, some of them said it's just the nature of how, you know, the public transport system, so trotro, etc., have taken up a good part of the road, especially as you get closer to the market. So then it narrows the stretch of road that they can use, and then cars have to try to navigate that. But we actually did see that there were personnel there who were trying to help with the flow there as well. What we did notice, though, especially on our way back, was that as you get closer to Obeche Bilamte, now, you know, obviously there's some construction going on there. For those of us who were going on the overpass to Graphic Road, etc., clear.
Okay.
Crystal clear.
Okay.
Those who are trying to get off on the access road, they are the ones who are a bit backed up.
Okay.
So that is also, of course, causing a backlog of traffic on that stretch. But pretty much, you almost get the sense that people have resigned themselves to their fate. It's a daily occurrence.
Which is very unfortunate, you know. I mean, in a certain sense, it helps with, you know, dealing with the stress. It helps with dealing with the whole madness of it and thinking about how late you are for the meeting and all those kinds of things, you know. But I do realize also that there are different groups of people that are making this commute.
Yes.
So there's a civil service, okay, that have to come to work every day. When I did my national service at the Braka Polyclinic,
just not far from here.
I remember that people's general attitude towards work was, I mean, we'll get here when we get here, right?
Okay.
All right. So don't make a fuss. We'll get here when we get here. So I see that as one aspect, okay? But then there are also people who determine how much they make every day. Those are people who are working for themselves, right? Now, if they need to get in by a certain time, they are likely to lose money if they don't get in by that time. Do you see? Those who are going to collect a salary at the end of the month, regardless of whether they come in early or, you know, go get in late, they don't care that much. They'll sleep in the car, make the journey. You know, when we get there, we get there. But the other people are trying to make a living, you know, and their living depends on whether they get in early or not. You know, so I think for me, my heart goes out to those people a lot more, and I feel like we need to address this issue of productivity. And I was even suggesting earlier on that maybe we should run some kind of a shift system, you know, nationally, where it's normalized for the civil service, for example, to create 2 different working times within a 24-hour period, you know, so that people don't all leave home at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you see? Maybe you can look at it down and just say, look, let's split the ministries and say, you this group, you come from this time to this time. This other group comes from this time to that time, you know, so that we reduce the load of people coming in to the center of the city, you know, at any point in time. And of course, that will also reduce the load going out of the city at the other side of the rush hour, you know, period. So I don't know. I mean, we spoke to Hafiz Tijani in Kumasi, and Hafiz was it was very interesting what was going on there. A lot of the drivers seem to feel that the challenge was with what they call the prajias, you know, or I call that the Mahama Kambu, you know, the tricycles. The problem seemed to come from them, but the assemblyman gave us an interesting perspective. He said there are potholes on the road at this point, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I think that's always a challenge, you know, where the road itself is creating the problem. There's the slowing down of movement. Kaneshie First Light area, for example, there's huge craters in the road.
In fact, we were looking out for them because there was a time where the stretches of that road that were even worse.
Yeah.
Now, had we gone much further down, like heading towards Dansoman, Sakaman, that area, there's some issues there.
Yeah.
But for where we got to, the road damage wasn't the issue there.
Okay.
But obviously, for somebody coming from farther away, they probably would have had to navigate that. But again, at that time of the morning, the traffic was still a bit manageable on the side where we were. But you're right. Look, there are areas of town that if we go to and when we go to, people will see just how much traffic can be caused by a patch of bad road that isn't even maybe 10 meters.
Yes,
and it causes such a backup of traffic. So the road damage is huge for a lot of traffic prone areas. It's a nightmare. Absolutely.
One of the areas that has come up for in conversation, it was one of our listening centers, it was said was Adenta Ashie. And I hear that place, don't even start talking the conversation because we won't end, so those of you who are watching us maybe on social media or something, or maybe you live in that area and decide to go to work later because you don't want to be part of that traffic, when you do get into the traffic situation, send us some photographs. We would like to see what's going on over there as well, just to give us a sense of some of the traffic spots and what's happening around. But the roads and highways they released a statement about some repair work that they want to do.
Yes, and it's going to cause a lot of headache for people. But on the good side, they're trying to fix the damage. And that I know exactly what area they're talking about. It desperately needs repair. So it's a good thing that they're going to fix it, but it is going to cause a big headache to people who use that route.
Let me read the public announcement that they released. So this is coming from the Department of Urban Roads head office, and it says here, interruption to traffic flow from Tetequashi to East Legon Boundary Road at Shiashi. The Ministry of Roads and Highways, acting through the Department of Urban Roads, wishes to inform the general public and road users that the access to the boundary road from the Tetequashi interchange will be closed to the general public to enable the repair of a section of the road to be carried out. There will be interruption to traffic flow within Shiashi and its environs from midnight of the 15th of October to midnight of Sunday, the 17th of October 2021, to enable the contractor to undertake the repair works. Now, motorists are kindly advised to follow the traffic diversion signs to be placed at various sections of the road during the period. Please bear with us as we strive to eliminate the bottlenecks in our traffic stream. We sincerely apologize for any inconveniences caused. This is signed by Engineer James Amu Gottfried, who is the acting director there. Now, I would have liked to suggest, and I mean, I can still suggest, that why don't you just decide that, well, we're going to work only at night. I know they're starting at midnight, right?
Yes.
But I think that by 6 a.m., or let's say by 4:30 a.m. in the morning, whatever you've done, you stop there. Open up the road, let people use the road, and then shut it down again, maybe 10 p.m. the following evening. And then work through the night.
Through the night. I would
have said, instead of starting at midnight, why don't you start at 10 p.m. and then have more hours, right? Start a diversion at 10 p.m. and then work through to about 4:35 a.m. Okay, that gives you 7 hours, right, to do some work. And then the next night, do the same 7 hours. You see, rather than completely block it off for 48 straight hours.
I know. I guess we'd have to find out from the engineers what informed the decision, because I would assume they've done their homework, they've examined the place, they know what it would take, because that particular section of route, it's actually quite bad. I mean,
it is terrible.
When you know what that section is.
I do.
So it's something, because you're thinking, okay, maybe they could block off half the road, but literally that whole stretch needs work. So maybe they're thinking, okay, we need this amount of hours, this amount of time, let's clear it, do it all, block it off, because you know how recalcitrant some of us can be. You'll see a road being worked on. It's even been cordoned off somehow, people will find a way to even move the cordon or the rope or whatever demarcation, still drive on it when it isn't properly settled, you know. So perhaps they're thinking, let's completely block it off, finish the work, when it's done, then we go. So that, you know, you don't have this thing of people trying to still fight to get into that space.
You know the resurfacing that has been done in different neighborhoods,
yes,
right?
Yes.
You typically, when they start the resurfacing, a couple of hours later it's open. You can use it.
Yes.
But I suspect, though, that they're doing a different thing with this one.
With this, they have to. It's deep. That thing is it's extensive.
You know that area has water in the area. So I suspect that they probably want to go a little bit lower down. You know, it's not. I don't think it's a straight resurfacing.
No,
because that's
no,
easy.
No, it can't be. It can't be.
So it's possible that they're actually going to do a proper, you know, job in that
they
area.
They would have to, because
and that's why it's going to take
the kind of traffic, and I mean, when I mean traffic, I mean moving traffic that uses that particular junction intersection. They need to do it properly. Take their time, do it properly. As you said, that junction there's a bus stop just past there. Every time it rains, you see water collecting. There's a footbridge over there. You see water collecting under it. That area damaging the road.
It's waterlogged. The area is waterlogged.
It's so serious.
So, do you remember C-Caps?
Say again.
Do you remember
Yes.
Do you remember?
Back there,
So it's just across the road, literally. And that place used to flood, literally. You know, I mean, I don't know what they've done with the drainage in the area, but I don't get the sense that it floods the way it used to. You know, but there's water in the area, so I think that's probably why what they're trying to do is to fix that once and for all, so they don't have to come back to it. You notice that we're on the boundary road.
Yes.
When you get to the just as you get into the curve going towards not the end of the boundary road, but they've created a little roundabout.
Yes.
At the bottom of the boundary road, when you go past the police station, you get the bottom. They create a roundabout there.
Exactly.
Notice that the material that's used for the road there is different.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
That's what my suspicion is. My guess is that that's probably what they want to do in this area here, to protect the road and make it like once and for all. You don't need to come back again and deal with that.
And see, there's a lot of, because there's a trotro or transport station right there.
Yes.
You know, the vehicular, the weight of the vehicles that are also there, it takes a toll on the road. So we're hoping that the road will be reinforced in such a way. And again, I'm sure the engineers they've done their homework. They know what it would take. But you know, kudos to them for taking this on and saying, yes, we need to fix it. It needs to be done. Hopefully, the same will be done to other areas that are prone to this.
No, I mean, I like, you see, because what the release says is that as we strive to eliminate the bottlenecks in our traffic stream, which means that it seems to me there's a general thinking in this direction, and they are picking up the places to try and deal with them, you know. So hopefully, this is something that is not a one-off, but they're looking at all the other areas and trying to figure out what it is.
It's good news.
Yeah,
it's good news. Yes.
Yeah.
When it's fixed, please, people drive nicely on it.
I know, right? Ghana, when you fix the road, then everybody starts to speed you know, it's just it's unacceptable, though. You know. Yeah. I've noticed. I was talking to Bernard earlier when he was here on the news review segment about the police action these days with the motorbikes.
Yes,
I don't know if you've noticed.
Yep.
That they are you know, arresting and confiscating bikes.
Yes, they are.
In town. I noticed some action. I was with Jessica the other day, and yesterday actually, and the policeman flags down a bike, right? And he doesn't want to stop. He's trying to evade the police. So the guy, you know, swings his arm, the policeman swings his arm and catches the passenger on the back, on his chest. Okay. So he catches him on the chest and destabilizes the bike. So they both, in a bid to try and stay, you know, on the bike, eventually hit the curb, and they both come off the bike. Now, at this point, the rider is in desperate negotiation they don't get hurt, okay? So he's in desperate negotiation with the policeman that whatever you want, I'll do. Just don't take my bike.
You've got me.
I'm like, seriously, you should have thought about the negotiation before you try to evade run away. Right? But anyway, kudos to the police.
Yes.
Kudos to the MTTD. Kudos to the IGP, who I believe is the initiator of this new move that's going on here. I think it's brilliant. We need to rid our streets not of bikes. That's not what for me, that's not the issue, of indiscipline.
Yeah.
You know, and part of it is that riders don't have helmets. Riders, and by the way, the police who pick Okadas without helmets, you're a problem. Yeah, I don't see why you as a police officer has jumped on the back of an Okada and you are not wearing a helmet yourself. And yet you have the audacity and temerity to come and stop somebody who is on the back of a bike not wearing a helmet. I don't get that. It's like, as for the police, we are here to catch. We're not here to obey the law. Well, what sort of something is that?
No, but you're right. I think kudos to the like you said, I think under this IGP, we've seen a concerted effort by the police
Many
service
initiatives already.
to really, to act in various ways that are complementary to the service and that are beneficial to us as the citizenry. That's what we want to see. We want them to keep it up. We know that they're trying to rid our streets of recalcitrant drivers and motorbike users, vagrants, etc. Please keep up the good work. We'll support you. But as Kweku David said, if you're on the wrong side as well, you've got to call it out.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be setting the example
We like bashing,
for us to follow.
We'll bash, but we'll compliment you when you do the right thing. As for that one, we have to. It's the honorable thing to do. If you do the right thing, we'll compliment you. And I think the police have been doing an amazing job in the last few days. I've been very particularly impressed with the work of the police. I think that a lot of the times we are quick to go hard at them when we don't see the right things being done. And I think that for me, it's one of my things. I'm very quick to say, you know what, I saw that, I'm impressed. I like it.
Definitely.
Keep it up, you know. I think
especially since most of the time, or a lot of the time, their job is quite dangerous.
Yes, it is.
They risk a lot.
Listen, I once, a policeman stopped me one time because I was on the phone. And I still don't understand that rule, but you know, whatever, you know. Yeah, I don't understand.
Which one?
No, the business of being on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't understand, but
yeah, you're not supposed to be on the phone when you're driving, Kweku.
I'm saying that I don't understand the rule.
What don't you understand?
About the rule?
Yes.
Okay, you know what? I'll call you Caleb on standby. We'll come back and deal with this matter before the end of the show. Okay. All right, so our colleague Caleb is somewhere around the Achimota area of Accra. Caleb, good morning.
Good morning, Kweku.
So, thank you for releasing Kokwi to come back and join me in the studio. She's here. But tell us where you are right now specifically and what's going on there.
Very well. So currently we are at the Achimota, precisely the new plan area. Before we got here, we observed some considerable traffic situation at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, precisely around the Vodafone office. Over there, we realized that even though it's a 3-lane stretch, the activities of the commercial drivers, we otherwise call trotro, had caused considerable traffic. So all the way from the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, precisely Vodafone, coming towards you have the Atenka FM side, you saw considerable traffic build up over there, and then you come around Alajo all the way towards again Peace FM, Tessano. There was considerable traffic over there as well. Now you come from the Achimota overhead, and then you begin to observe that there is a remarkable build up from this side where I am, New Plant Station, all the way out of sight. And we're understanding that this could happen from here all the way to Ofankor and to St. John's, all the way to the new Pokuase interchange. So even though the new Pokuase interchange frees up traffic a bit around where it ends, if you're coming towards St. John's Grammar, exactly, then it gives us a bit of traffic situation. So that's what we are seeing over here. Thankfully, there are some police officers, including armed ones, because as you know, there's been some measures by the police service to ensure to clamp down on robbery, daylight robbery. So some are armed, and they're just providing security, ensuring that no act of robbery occurs. Others too are from the MTTD, and their main focus is motor traffic flow and then also discipline, and so all that is happening on this stretch. So if you look around, you can tell that there is heavy traffic congestion on the stretch, what the police, particularly those who are ensuring the flow of traffic, have told us is that it ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
It picks up and then at a point then it flows. So it's been fluid at some points, but then at some other points it builds up in a very congested manner that keeps most of these motorists on the road for far too long, and it builds up the stress situation of some of the motorists. So, Kweku, that has been our journey here and the concerns of the some of the motorists. And if some of them would like to talk to us, we'll gladly do so. Hey, how you doing, bro? Good. Where are you coming from, and how long have you been in traffic?
The traffic is moving fast.
The traffic is moving fast. Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Soto.
You're coming from Soto. Where are you headed?
I'm heading to La Paz.
Good. Typically, how much time do you spend on the stretch, and how better is today?
Normally, spend about 30 to 40.
30 to 40. And today?
About 15.
15?
Yeah.
Wow. Was it the same situation on Monday, for example?
No.
Monday, how was Monday?
Monday was terrible. Yes, yeah.
What happened? What would you say was the situation?
I guess it was the rain.
You have to go. Please do so. Thank you so much. Okay, so there you have it. He says that he spent a bit less of time on the stretch than Monday, and so that is his reality. Let me get to this side. There are some who are in commercial vehicles who would like to pick their thoughts as well. Say, how are you doing? This is City TV. Where are you coming from, and how long have you been in traffic?
It's about 20 minutes.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm coming from Sapema.
Amasaman.
Sapema.
Sapema. Okay. How long have you been in traffic?
About 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that too much, or it's okay for you?
Oh, it's not that too much. It's okay.
It's normal. Is that the regular time you spend commuting from Sapema to here?
No, not. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes.
Okay. So what's the worst you have ever experienced?
Before, when they were not able to complete the
Pokuase interchange.
Yes, it was worse, very worse. Even now, since even as they complete, it's still the same, but it's not regular. It's not regular.
It's not regular. So around what times do you see the peak, and at around what times is it better? Are you able to calculate? I know I'll spend less time today.
Sometimes Monday is hot.
Okay. So he tells us Wednesdays are better, but Mondays it gets worse. So as you can see, of course, the stretch is regulated by traffic lights, and they are functioning. And so every now and then you have a build-up, but then it flows intermittently. And then if you look on the main highway, that's a long queue, massive stretch full of traffic, So, Kweku, that's the situation here.
Yeah.
We're trying to interact with some more road users and see what the experience has been. Driver, how are you doing? How many hours now would you acquire so trust acquire?
Traffic team the travel
Now, and that is saying.
And then Accra.
So it's good. Central Business District from Taifa. Its traffic situation has been a bit better today, and so he's in good time.
I find
As you
it
can
interesting.
see, this stretch is moving. It's quite fluid, but however, this side is not. Kweku.
I find it interesting that he says that Accra Hoye, it kind of gives a sense of probably there's a relay effect, so if things are not too bad downtown in Accra Central, then it seems to affect all the way back.
I'm sorry, Kweku, could you take that again?
No, I'm saying that for what the comment he made, say, and then Accra Hoye, sort of gives the idea that probably the traffic situation, if it's bad at the Central Business District, then it tends to have a ripple effect, a domino effect backwards towards somewhere like Achimota where you are.
That is true, because many of the people who are using this stretch are heading towards the Central Business District. And so if there is some massive congestion within the Central Business District, that could have cascading impact on the traffic flow coming from the peri-urban and the sub areas. Because, like you know, Accra Central is the heart of much of business. That's where the traders go to. That's where we have most of the office complexes. And so if there is some hiccup over there, its impact will be felt all the way to the peri-urban area. So there is some truth in there. However, we've not been to the central business district, so we're unable to tell if that is the case. But also, as we have discovered on our journey here, we found out that one of the major hiccups is with the transformation of bus stops into bus terminals, where instead of drivers just drop off their passengers and then move, they rather wish to have their buses full before they actually move on. So that situation takes a chunk of the road and then limits the flow of the traffic. There's a bit of hiccup here, so we can get to interact with some of the commuters and find out from them their experience. Hello, sir. Good morning. My name is Caleb. We're on City TV. We just want to know your user experience in terms of traffic on this stretch. How is it like this morning?
It's bad this morning, but it's okay. But for the period days when coming down this area, so much traffic is very bad.
So what's the longest you have spent in traffic, and where were you moving from to where?
When I'm moving from Pokuase to Accra, at times roughly 1.5 hours before I get to Accra. That is it. So
are there particular days that the traffic situation is out of hand?
Oh yes. That at times from Friday, Monday, Friday. Actually, that's
so beginning of the week, ending of week.
Yeah.
What accounts for this in your view?
Well, I can't talk much about it now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so that's his reality. He tells me that it gets worse at the beginning of the week, and also on the day the weekend begins. We are unable to get to what he thinks is the reason for that. But as you can see, once the traffic light turns green, everyone is trying to speed
go as quickly as possible.
Caught up in the traffic here at New Plant Station within the Achimota enclave. You would also observe that there is a huge mall here, so it's a significant attraction. They call it location affinity, where the sighting of some services has correlatory impact on traffic.
It's true.
But then I don't think it's had any impact on traffic this morning. From what I see, there's the car park is actually empty. So, but you would observe that there are massive businesses and shops all along the stretch. So the slowing down, the moving and coming in, all of that contributes to the traffic situation that we record, particularly on the stretch.
Yeah, we've been hearing a lot of people saying this thing about the beginning of the week and the end of the week. That's when the traffic is heaviest. You know, so I think that's good information to put out there, especially for our MTTD, so that they know where to place personnel for the days, the peaks and valleys, should we say. So, because today, even where we went earlier, Caleb, around Kaneshie, you got the sense that the traffic was flowing a bit better. You know, on our way back to studio, we saw the road was quite clearer. And as one of the people earlier said, perhaps because the traffic here wasn't as heavy, they're also experiencing a pretty decent commute this morning. But from what they're saying, you know, maybe the radar of the MTTD at the beginning of the week and the end of week needs to be you know, turned there a bit more. Yeah, but you can imagine once the shop, the Melcom, once that opens up, as you said, you know, that stretch. You know,
I'm having a bit of difficulty hearing you now.
All right.
But then you make a fine point. That is true. Particularly over the weekend, where we heard of the incident of a tanker that encountered an accident somewhere beyond Pokuase. It was that hurdle was taken off by the police, but you'd recall that for as long as it was there, it took motorists far longer time on the stretch to get home, and there was massive traffic situation on the stretch. So it is absolutely correct that during weekends the traffic situation gets worse, and then on the beginning of the week, it's also worse as well. And so it's a good indication for city planners and the police to take some action, especially in the case where you have breakdowns of these long distance vehicles, tankers and trucks. They actually worsen the situation. So it's a pretty much good information that can help ease the traffic situation on the stretch.
All right. Fantastic. Yeah, this looks very interesting. I mean, for me, I think that the whole, city planning and city organizing, in terms of the traffic situation, I think it's so important for us to get on top of things. What we've done is that we've sort of slacked in a sense and allowed the development to get ahead of us. So the peri-urban sprawl has happened. Well, I mean, of course, there is population growth, but then there's also the rural-urban migration, which is part of it. So you see that it's changed so quickly that now we are playing catch up. We are literally playing catch up, and so interesting images there. Interesting.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see where Caleb is going. Is he going to walk through the grass or but obviously he's exploring.
Yeah.
He's just
this is actually my neighborhood, so I know this area very well. Yeah. But I'm just thinking about this right now, looking at the traffic, right? I'm just imagining that if I don't leave home at the time I leave home, I'm going to deal with all this.
You'll be sitting with this
I mean,
every day.
seriously.
It's serious. At the time of day. And the thing about this road is, if you don't know this road, if your first time on this road, right, and you're not careful, you will find yourself close to Nsom or
before you realize. I mean,
because the access road, if you miss that, that's it. There's nowhere else to come off. You get to the interchange.
Which I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that the signages have to be clearer.
Yes.
And alert you earlier. Early enough.
Yes, because right. The sign is literally right at the
just
split.
Before
the split. So if you miss it, you miss it. But for people who are familiar, at least they know how to navigate it. But obviously people are coming into town this morning, so we see the heavy traffic incoming. But then going out, it looks pretty free, at least for now. At least for now.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well,
lots of traffic stuff this Thursday.
There's a lot. We have more that's coming up in the show. Let's take a look at our